This week, a half dozen Democratic members of Congress introduced articles of impeachment against President Trump, but they don't have a chance of getting the votes in the Republican-led House. Democratic Whip Steny Hoyer said now is not the time for Democrats to push for impeachment. But that hasn't stopped my next guest, Democratic megadonor and billionaire environmentalist Tom Steyer. Surely you have seen his ads here on CNN and other networks, probably not at Fox, though, which pulled them after it says its viewers complained. He spent $20 million so far on 2 pro-impeachment ads. I recently spoke with Tom Steyer. So, Mr. Steyer, let us talk Article 2, Section 4, treason, bribery, other high crimes and misdemeanors. Which do you think apply?
Well, Michael, I think that there's no question that the president has obstructed justice in his firing of the head of the FBI, which he said he did because he persisted in the Russian investigation. I think that he has broken the emoluments clause virtually on a daily basis. And I think that his public request for the Justice Department to do a criminal investigation of his political opponents is also a clear abuse of power, and that in effect, what the Constitution says about impeachment is that the president cannot be allowed to violate his trust with the American people and the spirit of his office. And he's clearly done that.
I guess my question is one of, we need to make sure when we talk about impeachment that we're dealing with the objective, not the subjective, because you set a precedent, right? If you're reliant only on conjecture, in your case, it could be a Democrat who's the next president. And if Republicans have an antipathy toward that individual, they may say, we see grounds for impeachment where they really couldn't be proven.
Well, I have a couple things to say about that. One is, he has committed these infractions, he's committed these acts in public. We don't need to go through the tapes of his phone calls or the tapes of his emails to see him do it, because he's done it right in front of our eyes and then he's admitted it. And the second thing I'd say is this president has put us in unprecedented danger. So this is not a matter of policy or dislike of his health care, his taxes, or anything like that. This is a president who is a clear and present danger to the American people. I think everybody in Washington, D.C., including members of his party, recognizes that. I think members of his administration absolutely recognize that. And in fact, we're seeing Senate Republicans trying to take away his ability to unilaterally use nuclear weapons because they know it's true.
Right, but in the ad, I think the language you use is that he's brought us to the brink of nuclear war. But bringing us to the brink of nuclear war, if in fact that's accurate, that's not treason, that's not bribery, that's not a high crime or misdemeanor. In fact, some would argue that's the situation that he inherited from predecessors who didn't do anything about Kim Jong-un.
Well, I think, Michael, I see this as two different things, and I think you're conflating the two of them. One is, has he met the criteria for impeachment? And that was the first question you asked me, and I referred to the emoluments clause and I referred to obstruction of justice, the kinds of things that meet the criterion for impeachment. The second question was, you said, well, people could use this, as a precedent. And I said, actually, what he's doing, not in terms of meeting the standards, which he clearly has met, but in terms of the urgency for acting on this, his behavior, the danger that he's presenting to the American people and to our democracy is unprecedented. And I see that. One is, do you meet the criteria? And second, it is so urgent that we act on it because he is presenting unprecedented danger to the safety and health of Americans and of our democracy.
Might you be helping him? Might you be helping him insofar as the Trump base sees your ads, the whole country can't help but see your ads, and they interpret your ads as your attempt to overturn a legitimate presidential election that we just had, and they therefore become emboldened in their support of Donald Trump?
I think what we're trying to do is not to be smart, not to make political calculations about which segment of the population would this appeal to, which segment of the population would this annoy. But instead, we're trying to do something very different from that, Michael. We're trying to do the right thing, and we're trying to do the moral thing because we think it's important, and we are not trying to figure out how the game is going to play out, because partly we don't think you can. We're really just focused on the idea that this is a danger to the health and safety of Americans, and we're trying to give the American people the ability to speak up in their own defense and say, we really are scared by this man, we are extremely unhappy about his behavior, and we need to get rid of him.
Quick final question. Fox won't run your ad. Why did you spend the money there to begin with?
Well, I wasn't one of the people figuring out the ad strategy, but I've talked to him, of course. So let me say this. We placed that ad in media channels all over the country, hitting all different kinds of viewers. And Fox has a very particular kind of viewer, and I think that the people who were placing the ad wanted to make sure that those people saw the ad, got access to the information, and they knew there was a chance the president would see the ad on Fox and Friends, and they felt like he should get a chance to see this ad so he understands that the American people are speaking out against him directly.